Welcome to Hospitality Pension, the show where we break down the policies and the systems shaping our financial future. I am your host, Josephine Kojoyi, and in this episode, we are diving into Ghana's pension landscape, understanding the different schemes available, and shedding light on the challenges, particularly with the National Pension Regulatory Authority. Whether you are a worker, an employee, or just curious about retirement security, this episode is for you. This episode focuses more on the hospitality industry and specifically bar and restaurant attendants. Let's get into it. Welcome, Mr. Frank Anderson. To start with, could you explain how NPRA defines the informal and the formal workers, particularly in the context of hospitality industry?
All right, thank you very much. I'm also happy to be with you and to join you on this project. Well, when we say informal sector in terms of pension, we're referring to people or individuals who do their own work. Okay, who are not in a formal engagement of who doesn't work on a monthly basis. Okay, like those who are in the formal sector. So this group of people do their own work. There's no employer-employee relationship. That is the group of people describe them as informal sector workers or self-employed. And when we say formal sector worker, we are talking about a worker or someone who is engaged formally with employer and employee relationship. And mostly the salary is paid on monthly basis. So that is the difference between the formal and informal in terms of pension arrangement.
So to build on that, we know that, or with our research, we found out that we have 3 tiers under the pension scheme.
Yes.
So can you give us a brief of it and then what benefits they provide?
Well, yes, we have a 3-tier pension system. The first tier, we call it Basic National Social Security Scheme. And that scheme is managed by SSNIT. So what the pensions that SSNIT is doing now, we call it Basic Social Security Scheme, and it's mandatory, okay, for every worker in Ghana. If we're in a formal sector, it's mandatory for you. If we're in the informal sector, it's voluntary. Okay, that is the first basic scheme. Then we have the second tier. The second tier is also a mandatory scheme. It's also for formal sector workers. We have a two-way of managing that particular scheme. We can do it internally within the institution, or you can outsource it to a trustee, a corporate trustee that we have, NPRA have licensed. And that also pays a lump sum benefit at the end of the person's working life. Okay, so SSNIT pays the monthly pension, and then the tier 2 pays the lump sum, and it's managed by people, we call them trustees. They can be individuals, they can be companies. Okay, and they are licensed by NPRA, National Pension Regulatory Authority. So in Ghana, you cannot do pensions without being licensed by NPRA, except SSNIT. Okay, apart from SSNIT, any other person or any other institution that is managing or involved in pensions is one way or the other licensed or registered by NPRA.
Okay. And please, what about the tier 3?
All right. So the tier 3 is we call it a voluntary provident fund or personal pension scheme. There are 2 schemes that are involved in the tier 3. Okay, provident fund and then personal pension scheme. The provident fund is for the formal sector. Okay, where the institution decide to set up a scheme for its staff. That scheme is restricted to only the staff of the institution. and it's a voluntary scheme. Okay, the employer has a liberty to set it up or not. Okay, the employer can decide that, okay, I want to set up a provident fund scheme for my staff. Okay, so it's a way of boosting the morale, and then also a way of retaining the best staff that you have. Okay, and then the personal pension one also pays a lump sum anyway. The provident fund also pays a lump sum, just like the tier 2. Okay. And it's also managed by the trustees, either corporate or individual, same as the tier 2. Okay. Then the tier 3, the other part of the tier 3 is a personal pension scheme. That one was designed for the informal sector workers. Okay, so we call it personal pension scheme because it's personal and it's voluntary. The person decides him or herself to do that particular scheme. Okay, and that scheme is also managed by the trustees.
I would like to explore more on the challenges NPRA faces when it comes to enrolling the informal sectors or the hospitality workers, especially with the bar and the restaurant attendants on the scheme. So please, can you give us an insight on the challenges you face as a pension scheme trying to enroll these people on the scheme?
Thank you very much. The challenge mainly has been the people understanding the scheme and the benefit or the importance of pensions. Okay, a lot of the people in the informal sector, including this category of people that we are talking about, the bar attendant and then those involved in the hospitality industry within the informal sector, has been that the idea or the idea that pensions is for formal sector. Okay, that is one of the difficulties, one of the mindset or the things that have cloud their minds in joining the pension scheme. A lot of them thought that pension is only for formal sector and has nothing to do with the informal sector. So it's been difficult. It's been difficult for them to join. So what we've been doing is to try to sensitize them, educate them on the importance and the relevance of pensions. Okay, that pension is for everybody. No matter the work you do or no matter the sector you find yourself, pension is for everyone. Okay, because retirement doesn't know the sector that you work. It only knows you are aging. You have to go home. Whether you work in the informal sector, you work in the formal sector, you have to go home. Okay, but the person in the formal sector has something that he or she can fall on. What about you in the informal sector? You understand? So that's what we've been trying to preach. And then again, most of the people in the informal sector also see or they say that, when I grow up, my child will come and take care of me. Okay, so there's no need to put any money aside. So they tend to give birth to plenty people, including even those in the hospitality, those at the bars, and they tend to give birth to too many, 10, 15, at least. They're saying that at least one of them or two of them will grow up and become big men or big women to come and take care of me in my old age. But that is also a myth. Just look at the economic situation that we have.
That wraps up today's episode on Ghana's pension system and the hurdles with NPRA. Understanding the schemes is the first step to securing a stable retirement. If you found this insightful, don't forget to subscribe and share. Have thought or experience to share? Don't worry. Connect with us on X at Hospitality Pension. Stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in our next episode.